till I suffocate, very quick to agitate, concentrate till I rate, I'm irate, in a state, my confidence is a trait, success is my motherfucking fate.
The idea of pickup artistry began in the 1990s, and it's pretty much a mode of behavior to court a woman, or in layman's terms, get laid. The term game describes one's ability to do this and their overall success rate, and this term was popularized by Neil Strauss, who wrote the book The Game, even though later down the line he actually wrote another book to sort of reverse the things that he said in that book, because he actually became a guy that couldn't pair bond anymore because of the way he was and the mindset that he had. And in the book he explores pickup culture and the practical tactics that a man can use to court a woman, or pick a woman up. Since then the phenomenon has exploded and the principles are still being used today. In the best case scenario, these tactics help someone to engage in a short-term relationship, or even better, in a long-term relationship, something that lasts a little bit longer, something a bit more fulfilling. In the worst case scenario though, these tactics are viewed as immoral, manipulative, and just generally make the guy look like a bit of a tryhard. In actual fact, the notorious internet gurus known as the pickup artist community, the pickup artists known as the PUAs, such as Real Social Dynamics, who gave life advice and dating advice, ended up being exposed as frauds. Despite this though, these principles have been trickled down into postmodern philosophies like the red pill movement or the red pilled way of thinking. These encourage that men treat women a certain way in order to attract them by acting in accordance to principles from evolutionary psychology, such as behaving in an alpha way, or whatever that means, but generally in the way that is more stereotypically masculine. The strategies used differ depending on the woman, and one of the strategies or the tactics we'll be talking about today is actually occurring in an anime. The show in question is The Disastrous Life of Saiki-K, and we'll analyze how it borrows or unknowingly parodies ideas from the red pill community and pickup artistry. Let's jump right into it. In the world of pickup culture, the tactics used depend on their mark, and this will dictate their attitude towards them in order to maximize their success, or just the chance that they'll pick up a woman. When aiming for the most attractive women, the 10 out of 10s, the glass cannons, the strategy is to avoid complimenting them at all or giving them any attention or validation, and just generally to create an aura of disinterest. The theory behind this suggests that highly attractive women have been complimented and given this external validation for a large chunk of their life. Therefore, their self-worth is grounded in their attention from others. And the presumption is they're actually very insecure because they haven't actually done the mental work to become confident in themselves from within. By approaching such a woman with an aura of disinterest, an illusion is created that this person, the approacher, is of a higher league than they are, which then rattles their insecurities due to lack of validation and creates attraction via hypergamy. The idea that women marry up or they go for men with higher status than them. The anime The Disastrous Life of Saiki-K is one I find pretty funny and pretty entertaining, which is saying something considering I don't find a lot of anime funny, or just generally TV in general very funny. It takes a lot to make me laugh, or very least, I like slapstick, and you don't get that a lot. And one of the reasons for this is the character of Teruhashi Kokomi. She is depicted as being highly social and extremely popular. She is liked by everyone and is accustomed to receiving many compliments and declarations of affection on a daily basis. The main reason for this is her beauty, as she has a reputation of being exceptionally attractive. I mean, the show even highlights this by having a little glow around her when none of the other characters have anything like that. And she uses this to her advantage to manipulate others and just to get her way, but this is kind of played in a comedic sense because it is a comedy show. But here is the twist. The main character Saiki actually expresses no interest in wanting to get to know her whatsoever. His demeanor is incredibly detached and aloof towards her, and this is probably due to the fact that nothing really impresses him. I mean, the guy has a lot of powers, psychic powers, he can pretty much do anything. And the female anatomy to him is really no big deal. Consequently, Saiki ignores her completely, and this leads Teruhashi to continually go the extra mile in order to get Saiki's attention, to get his validation. However, by doing this though, she starts to question, like, why is she doing this? Does he not like her? What could possibly be so wrong that he doesn't want to get to know her, you know? The prospect of anyone not liking her drives her crazy, as she is used to receiving the devotion of everyone around her. Everyone except Saiki. This kind of reminds me of in Hannah Montana when there was that episode with Jake Ryan or whatever. He was like a celebrity in the school, and he ended up falling for Miley Cyrus's character because she didn't really give him that sort of attention, that sort of fan-loving, you know, parasocial sort of love. Funny reference, but that's what it reminds me of. And just like that, Teruhashi ends up being really attracted to him because of it, because the show heavily implies that that's the reason why she's continually pursuing him. Obviously this is a comedy show and the whole thing is completely bonkers, it's completely ridiculous, and you know, it's kind of like a gag throughout the show of her trying to get with Saiki or trying to get his attention. But I can't deny it's very interesting how there's this link between what's kind of mentioned in the pickup community and what's being used as a joke here. I will admit that I actually used to follow this sort of community when I was younger. I mean, they gave good life advice and it did kind of help with my confidence a little bit, but on the dating front, yeah, not so much. They just seem like glorified salesmen trying to give out life advice, but I digress. Maybe the show is aware of it and it's sort of using it as a parody to demonstrate what would happen if this advice actually worked, if you treated an attractive young woman in this sort of way. Since in pickup, it's not all about the looks, it's about the game, and apparently Saiki has a lot of it. From a theoretical perspective, it makes sense. If someone bases all their worth, all their self-esteem on their looks, and someone denies that, there's going to be an insecurity there. Same way that if someone put all their self-esteem, all their self-worth in how good they were at tennis, and someone just said that they weren't very good at it, that would cause some problems too. In reality, I don't think that the majority of attractive women gain a lot of their validation from the compliments of others. Just seems like a bit of a bonus. And pretty much that's why I disagree with it overall as a tactic, because people have multiple things that they have their pride in and associate their self-worth with, and a lot of those things come from within. So even if you were, you know, really good at tennis and someone didn't say that you were, or someone kind of ignored that, if you knew that you were good, it wouldn't really matter. So, with all this in mind though, it does make sense why this dynamic is present in a comedy anime, because this is hilarious. As in theory, like with pickup culture, it works. But in practice, not really, because everyone would be like fucking Russell Brand. Saiki-K does a great job at taking the piss out of the red pill pickup community, that sort of center of the internet, or those sort of people, whether it knows it or not, and I think it's bloody amazing. I've been Sir Lance, and have a great day.
It's open season and I'm out for the kill. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, now I'm feeling the thrill. Call me Itachi, you won't see me. Tsukuyomi.